Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. How y'all doing out there? We got some more stuff to cover tonight. I hope y'all doing good. I hope y'all had a good Tuesday. Hope y'all having a good day. Because we got some stuff to get into. Trying to figure out what's really going on up there in Minnesota. You know, I'm being a little nosy. I got my reporter hat on and being a little nosy, seeing what's going on in Minnesota. You know, Saturday we covered information about what's going on with fraud in the Somali community in Minnesota. On Saturday, we covered that. Tim Waltz's name is caught up into that. But we still got a lot of questions surrounding what's going on in Minnesota. It's a lot of questions surrounding what's going on. We have some information about some people who have been charged. And we have a lot of information that may or may not be true when it comes to the Somali community. But we know the information that we read last week. And my main source last week was the Department of Justice, DJJ. Not DJJ, but Department of DOJ, Department of Justice. And it was from a press release from the Department of Justice. So things we covered last week was, and basically bottom line things that we got to last week. In the Somali fraud case, multiple defendants in Minnesota have been convicted or charged. There's a broader program abuse is under ongoing government audit and enforcement. There's a lot of political backlash, community backlash, and policy change that have intensified as a result of what's going on in Minnesota with the claims, or even some of the information and the truth that they have that's going on in Somalia. I mean, not in Somalia, I keep saying in Somalia, that's going on in Minnesota. What's the name of the Feeding Our Future is the name of the nonprofit that is under scrutiny. Feeding Our Future was a Minnesota nonprofit founded in 2016, purportedly to feed children through federally funded child nutrition programs. However, prosecutors alleged it submitted fraudulent meal counts and documentation during the COVID-19 pandemic, claiming tens of millions of meals that were never served. In March of 2025, a federal jury found the group's leader and co-defendant guilty for participating in a $250 million pandemic-era fraud scheme, the largest of its kind, and that's from the Department of Justice. Government filings show Feeding Our Future produced fake reimbursement claims for meal sites that either never operated or served far fewer meals than they claimed. A federal judge ordered forfeiture of $5.2 million in luxury goods from the ringleader. So these are just a little recap of some of the things that we covered last week, looking at what's actually going on in Minnesota, but also Tim Waltz's connection as well. As we know, he dropped out of the governor race in Minnesota. He's not running for governor anymore in 2026. So we like, what's really good? What's really going on? A lot of the speculations are swirling that he dropped out because his name is going to be caught up into this, and Tim Waltz might be in a whole lot of trouble. That's what a lot of people are thinking. So as time go on, I'm gonna keep my eye on that part of the story so we can figure out what's going on as time goes on. Because right now, I know the information we have, and I know we do have some convictions, but we want to see what the bigger picture is, what the bottom story is, because we know what I believe, and from what we concluded from last Saturday, is there are a lot of people from not only the left but the right that are caught up into this. And there's a lot of white hands up in here, governmental white hands up in here. And Tim Waltz ain't the only one. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We getting it in. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. So today we're looking at a YouTuber and independent journalist named Nick Shirley. And Nick Shirley might be about that bull. Nick Shirley might be out here harassing people. And we about to find out. He recently went viral for his docu-style investigative journalism video supposedly exposing the fraud in Minnesota daycares. But there's a lot of information, a lot of stories swirling around that Nick Shirley don't know what he's talking about. A lot of people say it wasn't journalism, it was harassment. A lot of the articles and information tied to it that I have read, right-wing outlets are agreeing and championing what Nick Shirley was doing. Other outlets, of course, you know, the left isn't, and other outlets aren't necessarily confirming Nick Shirley's claims. I haven't seen anything outside of right outlets confirming Nick Shirley's claims about fraud in the Minnesota daycare case. So the first time I watched that video of Nick Shirley going into the daycare, supposedly exposing everybody, I was watching it and I was like, oh, okay, well, we're seeing what's going on. And then later on, more information started coming out. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what's really going on? And so we're going to dive in today because I want to learn what's really going on with you guys. So we're going to dive in today, see if Nick Shirley about that bull or if Nick Shirley is legit. And you see, I got a poll up. And what's my poll say? What does my poll say? My poll says, is Nick Shirley legit or full of it? 60% so far said legit, 40% said full of it. So we're going to see. We're going to see if Nick Shirley's legit or he full of it. So please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share, because we're going to dive all the way up in this Nick Shirley thing. So I'm going to start with this video, though. So let's go ahead and lay the groundwork.
Yes, I want to start with the statement, which was a lot of the journalism that's been going on the last couple of days has been really dishonest. I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but I do feel like what was done was someone came to our building outside of operating hours. When there's a specific sign on our door that says our days and our hours, he came outside of those hours and then claimed, hey, they're closed and they're still making money. They're using taxpayer money to work. And it's like, you don't come outside of operational hours and then say, they're using taxpayer money. That was completely false. As you can see, we're open Mondays through Thursdays, 2 to 10 p.m. He was here earlier. I don't see him right now. So it's like, are you trying to record that we're doing fraud, or are you trying to put the Somali name and the fraud in the same sentence? That's what really hurt us the last couple of days. We're open. We've been open. We haven't closed. We've been open for eight and a half years now. We haven't closed once during that period. So I wanted to touch on that first. The second thing is, which is kind of laughable, is the sign. We messed up the sign. We paid somebody to do our sign. He incorrectly did it. We're having him work on it. We paid him to correct the sign. He said it'll be done by this week. So by the end of this week, our sign will be fine. The third thing, which is the fraud claim. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Kids come to us, clients come to us, their parents come to us. They're here daily. They leave on time. They come on time. There's no fraud going on whatsoever. Where those claims came from, I mean, if a group of people does fraud, you don't paint the brush with everyone in that group.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning when after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
This is ABC Learning Center in Minneapolis.
They have to learn ABC and numbers.
Director Ahmed Hassan gave WCCO a tour after finding his daycare in the national spotlight.
All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center.
In a now viral video, right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley claims nearly a dozen daycare centers in Minnesota are taking public funds but not providing a service. He says ABC Learning Center is one of them, knocking on the door in mid-December.
I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Hassan says his employee didn't respond because Shirley was in a group of about 8 people, and his staff were concerned about recent ICE activity.
Is this daycare committing fraud?
No, we're not committing fraud.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later. Tuesday afternoon, WCCO found at least a dozen children at ABC Learning Center, which is licensed with the state. Records show Minnesota officials last visited the daycare in November, noting some corrected and ongoing violations related to day-to-day operations, but no record of fraud.
What did I do? I'm just a typical human being who wants to live and do the right thing. I have kids to feed.
Umi Hassan, the daycare's current owner, believes these latest fraud accusations are political. Both she and Hassan are Somali Americans.
We pay our taxes. We do whatever we can to be a law-abiding citizen. At the same time, when one Somali does something wrong, we all get collective punishment.
With Shirley's video now approaching 2.3 million views on YouTube alone, they say they are getting non-stop phone calls harassing them.
I was looking for a place for my granddaughter.
With many of those calls attached to out-of-state phone numbers.
They normally say, knock, knock, we're gonna come. You're gonna arrest, something like that.
Hassan says they turned over attendance records to comply with the Department of Homeland Security request. They're now waiting to hear back. CBS News is reviewing records related to the same daycares. All but 2 have active licenses. And Aaron, while the active places have violations related to safety or staff training, there's no recorded evidence.
How do you know that you're right? How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming so we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
That was conservative YouTuber Nick Shirley. His viral video where he's going door to door at daycares in the Minneapolis area and saying that he's uncovering massive amounts of fraud at Somali-run daycares has exploded on social media. Elon Musk retweeted the video. J.D. Vance retweeted the video. CNN is looking into Shirley's claims. This idea of fraud in Minnesota, though, is not new. In fact, for many, many years, the Department of Justice has been prosecuting cases against dozens of defendants, many of whom are concentrated in the Somali American community here in the Minneapolis area. Some of those cases actually began under Biden's DOJ in 2022 for a various list of different types of frauds. And so far, there have been at least 80 people indicted, at least 56 convictions. Attorney General Pam Bondi responded to the Shirley video, as did the FBI Director Kash Patel. Both of them say federal law enforcement has been all over this from the beginning and has secured many indictments. Further, this has become a major political headache for Governor Tim Walz because Republicans here in Minnesota say he is ultimately responsible for these fraud issues, for not doing enough to have an adequate level of accountability. Governor Walz says that he has done a lot. He's shut down one program. He's established a program integrity director. He says that he is doing what he can to try to root out this fraud. Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day, later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a
There
daycare.
should be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then but why can't they actually give me information how to enroll?
So that was a little foundation being set. I see you, Brooklyn, Brixton. You're saying, if my memory bank serves me well, I think a cop once told me it's considered a crime when the citizen figures it out. Well, we're going to see if this citizen actually figured it out. We're going to actually see. So who is Nick Shirley? Who exactly is Nick Shirley? Now, I will say this. Nick Shirley is being tied to the right. He's been tied to the Republican Party. As you're going to see, if time serves, you're going to see in an interview that if we get to it, but in that interview, he stated that he's not tied to the right, but a lot of his talking points are right-leaning. And he's being heavily tied to the right. So I'm just laying that framework. So when I read this information, so this is an article from NPR. It said, what to know about Nick Shirley, the YouTuber alleging daycare fraud in Minnesota. The Trump administration is freezing childcare funding to the state of Minnesota in response to a viral video that purports to expose extensive fraud by federally funded daycare centers. Nick Shirley, a 23-year-old self-described independent YouTube journalist, posted a 42-minute video on Twitter or X and YouTube the day after Christmas. In it, he and an older man, identified only as David, visits various seemingly empty daycare centers, bombarding Somali employees with questions and accusing them of not providing services to any children despite receiving public funds. The pair claimed to have exposed over 110 million in fraud. Allegations of social service fraud in Minnesota have been the subject of federal investigations and mainstream media coverage for years. In one high-profile example, more than 90 individuals have been charged since 2022 in the ongoing case of a Minnesota nonprofit that prosecutors say misappropriated some $250 million in federal COVID-19 relief funds intended to feed children in need, calling it the largest COVID-19 fraud scheme in the country. And the federal prosecutor said earlier this month that half or more of the roughly $18 billion in federal funds that supported 14 Minnesota-run programs since 2018 may have been stolen. However, Shirley's specific allegations have not been verified, with some challenging them in recent days. The manager of one Minnesota daycare center has once said Shirley visited outside of his regular hours, and you see him admit that in the video, in the clip we just saw. While a CNN camera crew investigating Shirley outside of a different center filmed caregivers dropping off their kids in the background. How do I know the allegations are true? Shirley responded when asked, well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis. We saw that in the video. The lack of evidence hasn't stopped a number of prominent conservatives, including Elon Musk and key members of the Trump administration, from amplifying and acting on Shirley's claims. As of Wednesday, Shirley's video has over 131 million views on Twitter or X and 2.5 million on YouTube. It's at 3-something on YouTube right now. We're getting ready to watch that video. Vice President Vance reposted Shirley's video the day after it went live, writing, "This dude has done far more useful journalism than any of the winners of the 2024 Pulitzer Prizes." FBI Director Kash Patel also responded on Twitter that even before the public conversations escalated online, the FBI had surged personnel, investigative resources to Minnesota to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. So Shirley, suddenly in the national spotlight, has expressed concerns about its safety and is asking supporters to donate to its security. So as far as his reporting or journalism background, Shirley has been making according to NPR. This is according to this NPR article. This is not my words. This is the NPR article. It says Shirley has been making shock value YouTube videos for years, starting with pranks before wading into political exposés. The Utah native vlogged consistently throughout high school, amassed some 7,000 followers before graduating in 2020. Some people might know who Nick Shirley is yet, but one day they will. It reads, that's something Nick Shirley put out. So one of his earliest stunts was flying to New York City at age 16 without telling his parents. They escalated from there, sneaking into influencer Jake Paul's wedding, tricking TikTokers into auditioning for a fake Justin Bieber music video, riding a bike over a ramp and stuff like that. He had a hiatus in 2021 for a 2-year break, and then he came back. He returned to the platform in 2023 with a video interviewing undocumented immigrants in the U.S.-Mexico border in Arizona. From that point on, his work took on a decidedly political bent, with man on the line street style interviews focused on politics, including illegal immigration, the 2024 election, President Trump's deployment of federal troops to blue cities, and ensuing protests against them. His 2 most viewed videos from this period, filmed from the EJ Salvadorian mega prison housing deportees alleged to be gang members, and another in Rio de Janeiro titled "I Infiltrated Rio, Brazil's Most Dangerous Gang." I think I remember that video. So that's a little bit about Shirley. Of course, a lot of people are saying he has an agenda. There are people who agree with him, people who don't agree with him. But by the end of this, we're gonna have a lot more information to go with to see what decision we want to make. All right, so please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. But before we get into the next Shirley video, drop this quick commercial on y'all. So I told y'all I was gonna get my merch shop up and running, so I've got it. So I want to show y'all my merch shop. So this is it. So I got some hats. So I got my own The Shoulders of Giants hats available for order. I have shirts. This is supposed to be like a canvas, some kind of shirt, jersey shirt. I don't know why they got that design, but it's a jersey shirt. Somebody wanted. Got hoodies, regular shirts, heavy, what they call it, the heavy tee, tees for men's, unisex tees for women, everything. I got a mug. I gotta get this mug too. But this is the merch that I have available. See, I got my mug, I have my hats, and I have my apparel available. And all of that is, the links and stuff are below and connected to the video. So I got my merch shop up and running, been working on that for a minute in the background to get my merch shop up and running. So I got it up and running. So if you want to support the channel and get you some merch, it's all available. Links below and links attached to the video. So you can support, links below, everything you can support. So let's jump into what Nick Shirley talking about. So this first video is the actual video of Nick Shirley going to the daycares and questioning everybody. And wrong one. My bad, wrong one. But this is the actual Nick Shirley video of him questioning the Minnesota daycare workers. All right. So let's get into it. Please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funnily ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the U.S. taxpayer expense. And in this video, we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked. How deep is this?
Now, before we get deeper into this, so we do know that there have been arrests and indictments and all those things because of fraud from the Somali community in Minnesota. But Nick Shirley is attempting to connect this daycare to that fraud. And that's the confusion, or that's the thing that's out in the air. Is Nick Shirley correct, or is he harassing these people and trying to connect them to all the others who have been convicted of fraud? And that's the thing. So we're going to find out. Like I said, there's a lot of information. There's overwhelming amount of information saying that Nick Shirley is not correct. So we're going to see. We're going to see.
Fraud here inside of Minnesota.
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these childcare centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. And then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? And what are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here, we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research. And then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years. And so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state Capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two childcares listed at the same address. And together, they're licensed supposedly for 100.
Now, I will say this, so, because I'm being fair, and I'm listening to what he's saying, but I have to be fair. Like I said, I got my journalism hat on, and I have to be fair. So from the information that I have, because he said all the paperwork and things that he have on that desk is being linked to childcare fraud. Now, the information that I've come across is being linked to fraud and feeding children, fraudulent meal counts and documentation. So not necessarily, I haven't come across any, once again, I haven't done any research, and I like he has, I don't know what, but I haven't done no intensive research. But from the information that I have come across, it's more for fraudulent meal counts and fraudulent meal count documentation than actual childcare fraud. So I do have to say that.
20 children. I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these childcare centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations. And even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people at the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation. A lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
And the government knows about this?
The government knows, they're writing the checks. Yeah, the Democrats over there just writing the checks. What has happened is that the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud. And they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it. Tim Walz saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it? Nothing. You got organized crime? What are you doing? This is the Minnesota law, which mandates that anyone who knows of fraud and is a state employee must report that fraud. It's Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9. Not only that, but Walz is also guilty of misconduct of a public employee. When I look at the world as a whole and I look at fraud, the Twin Cities is ground zero. The fraud is worse here than anywhere else ever in history, anywhere.
We're going to go confront these people. We're going to go.
Yeah, I hear all that. But once again, is it connected to the actual daycares that Nick Shirley visited? So according to Archive PH, it says Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families said all centers have seen the video. All centers seen in the video have active licenses. Once again, from Archive PH, it says Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families said all centers seen in the video had active licenses. According to Fox 9 Minnesota St. Paul, state inspections found children present at facilities doing unannounced visits. And once again, according to Fox 9 Minnesota St. Paul, they did not confirm fraud allegations from Shirley's video. 19th News said that there was no confirmed evidence of wide-scale fraud at those particular daycare centers. Some reporting suggests the video triggered major political actions before facts were verified. State officials, Tiki Brown, previously licensing visits, did not find fraud. Some centers closed for other reasons or were closed when Shirley visited. And so all of the sources that, and I'm not saying these sources are the sources to take to the grave, but according to these sources, active licenses were found at these particular daycares that Shirley visited, and there was no verification of fraud, particularly at those daycares that Shirley visited. So let's continue. Please hit that like button.
To the daycare centers, we're going to see what's actually happening.
Okay, so we have to be careful because these people are very violent. They're exceptionally violent.
Now, with all of David's evidence, we headed out to the streets of Minneapolis to see how much fraud we could uncover in one afternoon. Where are we going now?
We're going to a place called Mako Child Care, which actually has another child care registered at the same address called Mini Child Care Center.
So we should see lots of children if there's this child care center, especially if there's two.
The two of them combined are licensed for 120.
And how much money have these child care centers received?
None of those vans had moved in 6 months. None of them. In 2020, one of them received 1.3 million. In 2021, they got 987,000. In 2022, they got 714,000. That's the last I have for that one. And then the other one, 1.604 million in fiscal year 2025. Fiscal year 2024, they got about 800,000, and in fiscal year 2023, they got $904,059. This place right here. Yes.
We're outside of it.
Well, this is actually two daycares are registered here. One of them is Mako, which you see on this sign. The other one is Mini Child Care Center. And between the two of these child care centers, they're pulling in about $3 million a year. And there are no children. Every facility you go to, the windows will be blocked out, so you can't, there's nobody here. You won't see a single child at any of these facilities.
There are indeed no windows. All the windows are blacked out right here. All right, let's go in.
No.
And the child care center is locked. Should we ring the doorbell? Try to get in.
Now, once again, like they said in the clips, everybody knows that you can't just walk into a daycare, especially not nowadays. You're not just gonna open up the door and just walk into a daycare like that. Like, come on, Nick, Shirley. You gotta be smart about that. So as of right now, I don't know, Nick, Shirley, you might be on that bullshit, but we're gonna see.
And rang the doorbell. Nobody showed up. They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's here on their sign. There's absolutely millions of dollars, and it seems like business isn't even open right there. And if this was a daycare center, it wouldn't just be in some industrialized building. There would be maybe like a playground or something outside. Or
there's no play area for the kids. So where are the kids? Where's anybody? How can there be nobody here? And it's like this 9 years. I've never seen a single child at this building. Right there.
Oh, then now it looks like we already got the Somalis coming through.
Yeah, they're coming. The word's out.
Hello, is this your daycare?
No. Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center? I'm not sure. I don't.
Doesn't know if she's ever seen a child here. All right, let's go to the next location.
And the fraud only gets more from here.
Eve on
Here, make sure you stay till the very end of this video to see exactly how much fraud we find by the time we are done. And before we go to the next location, I want to show you something super interesting about the flags of Minnesota.
And here in Minnesota, if you take a look at the Minnesota state flag, they recently changed it, and it very much so resembles the flag of Somalia. And really quick, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of this video, Opus Clip. What used to just be an AI clipper has now become the most powerful AI growth tool for creators. Right now, over 10 million creators and businesses have used. Back into the video. Now we're going to the next daycare center. How much money has this one generated?
This one in fiscal year 2025, $1,042,059. In fiscal year 2024, $1,059,078. And in fiscal year 2023, $727,336.
This next one is literally one block away, and this one's also generated nearly $3 million in the past 3 years. Let's see if there's any children. Let's see if any of the buildings are open. Here we go. All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center. All the windows are blacked out. Let's see if anybody is here. This door is locked.
This facility is licensed for 40 children. 0 children. I've come by this place 100 times. I've never seen a child here, ever. The only thing I've ever seen is someone standing outside smoking.
What's crazy about this is that last daycare center is that green building right there. And the other daycare center right now is right here. These buildings should be operating as they're receiving literally millions of dollars.
Now remember, in the clip we saw earlier and the video we're actually gonna get to next, Nick did admit to going when It wasn't operating hours. Remember that. He did, and that's why I set the foundation. He did admit to going to these daycares outside of operating hours. And you can't just walk up in a daycare because you want to. That's not how that works. He didn't do his background research on how daycares work. Come on, Nick.
Knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door.
Hello? Can we speak? I would like to child in the daycare. Can I speak to a manager? Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I want to put my son Joey in daycare.
And after a few questions, the lady went silent.
Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Childcare.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens.
Yeah, let's see.
Once again, I try to find a spot for my son Joey, and they would not open the door.
I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Cuz I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Yes.
Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah.
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you worked here?
He's there. Kids there. What's
How
up?
many?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well, then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No? Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
I'm not my son. No! He's a liar. I'm the owner.
Do you put your kid here in this daycare?
No.
There is one child in there. Yeah, I'd like to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain you everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my color. Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But
No.
You said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my color. That makes you a racist. So right now, they're all getting mad because he's showing the paperwork of this business being registered as a business. 74 children, no children. We saw one child when the lady opened up the door. So now they're all getting mad.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on?
Ask the owner.
There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking?
So if I'm being fair, I will admit that this is not the greatest journalism job. I will say that. I've seen a lot of investigative journalism videos, and this is not a very good investigative journalism video. And I'm doing my best to be fair so I can get to so we can get to an answer, to a conclusion, to some facts. But yeah, okay. I'm just saying this Nick Shirley, I don't know, man. I don't know, Nick. You might be a harasser. But we gonna see. I'm not gonna take that to the bank. I'm not saying that's what it is. But I don't know, Nick. But let's keep watching.
For the owner, if you're to talk to the owner.
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to issue an Amber Alert for missing children? Are these children missing? It's not my business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof here. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
I think we're moving on to the next location. Have a good day.
As we continue to show the blatant fraud that was taking place here in Minnesota, Somalis started following us around the city.
And now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center, absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up! So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say.
Now let's be adults. Let's be adults. Yeah, the sign is spelled wrong, and that's crazy. Let's not go past that. The sign being spelled crazy is wrong, but that is not a clear example of fraud. Come on, Nick. Let's be adults about this, Nick. It's wild that the sign is spelled wrong, but it's not a clear sign of fraud. He trying hard though. He trying real hard. Right now, Nick, you haven't convinced me right now, Nick.
A Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up.
said they spelled learning wrong.
Here. Don't open up.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up. We have ice.
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up.
and getting $4 million over
Don't
the
open up. It's ice.
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away.
What do you think about that? Are you in favor?
Away.
Are you in favor of that?
Go away.
You know where
You're not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally,
Don't open up.
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? Did they run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's just calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States.
No, you're not.
Get rid of all the fraud. Have you ever seen children at that daycare center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child, you've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody in here.
We're going to educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children.
Now let's really be adults about what we're watching. Let's really be adults about what we're watching. There's no way in no shape and form that we would consider this like something credible that we could take to the bank. So far from what we've seen. If you think this is something credible that you could take to the bank, you let me know in the comments. But for me right now, this ain't real credible information that I could take to the bank and be like, yeah, these particular daycares are committing fraud and these particular daycares are connected with the larger fraud that is taking place within the Somali community within Minnesota. I can't rock with that, Nick. Not so far from what I've seen, because right now, this is a shitty job of journalism right now, Nick. This is a shitty job. You haven't given no cold hard facts to prove that those people specifically are committing fraud. There's no cold hard facts as of right now. So I say that.
Children here.
I don't see it.
Children.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None at all. None.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know where are the kids.
Yeah,
right?
I feel you. Okay.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that
seen
here.
a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've
8
never
years.
seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
And how does that make you feel knowing that this place is receiving $1.9 million?
It's disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They stealing the money. That's a federal grant too. That's if they get caught for that's a federal offense. I know I studied law.
And do you think Tim Walz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's enabled here in his state?
That's him doing this? Well, heck yeah. He's got to be held accountable for this. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. It's simple. It's nothing there. It's a parking lot.
And look, they even spelled learning wrong on their sign for a place that's supposed to be educating children.
That's crazy. I mean, who runs it?
You didn't even know
Who supposedly runs it?
Somalians.
You didn't even notice the sign was spelled wrong, and you say you see it all the time. You didn't even notice the sign was spelled wrong. So how intelligent are you? Come on, man. Let's come on, man. Let's be better. Let's be better in how we present information and try to expose people. Come on, man.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, it's just, I've never seen nobody here at all.
So how long have you been living here?
Since 2017.
You've never seen a single child walk in that building?
No, not at all.
So this daycare center is literally just a place to traffic money. $1.9 million just this year alone.
You
and
haven't
this guy's been
proven
living
that.
here for 8
He hasn't
years.
proven that.
Has never seen a single
bull.
child walk
You
through
haven't
those doors.
proven that.
There's no windows either.
No.
And the only window they do have, the door, is blacked out.
Yep, I see that. I've never seen anybody go in there.
Within just a few hours, we nearly approached $20 million in fraud, and we headed over to George Floyd's neighborhood to expose more of the fraud taking place.
This place is called Future Leaders Early Learning
He had to
Center,
mention George Floyd.
and it's licensed for 90 children. And in fiscal year 2025, they received $3.6 million. In fiscal year 2024, they received $3 million. So in 2 years, they got $6.67 million, claiming they have 90 children every day of the week, 5 days a week. So let's
These
find
people
out.
are making just about more money than NBA athletes.
And we don't even know if they're paying taxes, but we don't know where this money is going. Is it going to terrorism? Where is it going? But it's
Really?
theft, it's fraud. And
You haven't proven that.
the reason I'm involved is I want it to stop. I care about Minnesota.
But you haven't presented one cold hard fact at all in this video. Not one cold hard fact has been presented. All you can show us is money that has been allocated to them. We can go on any website and get information about all these organizations who receive government funding. We could do that for any organization, but what cold hard facts do either of them have to show that those particular daycares are actively committing fraud? I've yet to see it. I've yet to hear it. I've yet to see the link. Or am I crazy? But I'm this starting to look like, you know, a hit piece, because, you know, one of the gentlemen did say, of course, you know, you got more eyes on them, and they have been some of those, according to the people in the videos that I showed earlier, a couple of those daycares have been vandalized. So yeah. It's this video has definitely caused a firestorm across the nation. And I don't know what a lot of other people are looking at, but as of right now, if we being fair, because we being fair on both sides. So on Saturday, being fair, we talked about the number of Somali people who have been convicted of fraud. So we're gonna continue to be fair. And as of right now, in the spirit of being fair and logical, Nick Shirley. What's going on, DSB? How you doing, my brother? Thank you for joining in. In the spirit of being fair and intellectual and all that, Nick Shirley, we are 21 minutes into this 43-minute video, and there's no cold hard facts to connect those particular daycares to your claims of fraud. And right now, it's looking like a lot of irresponsible journalism. But let's continue.
Doing this for the people of Minnesota. I don't make a dime off all this time I've spent on this. I put my life at risk several times, but I'm determined to see this through and to correct what is wrong, what is evil.
Here at Future Leaders Early Learning Center, this building received over $3 million. Hello, how are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son, little Joey here. Is there paperwork, or can I check out the daycare? No. Why can't I check out the daycare?
It's not here.
Okay, but if I can't get paperwork or anything to submit my son, little Joey, to come in here to daycare. We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things.
Business card?
No, I would like your business card, actually.
You talk to your manager.
Okay, can I speak with somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children?
Yes.
Why are there no children?
Two athletes coming.
Would my son, little Joey, have friends to play with here? No. No friends for little Joey?
Yes. Sorry.
Dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day. So, little Joey would not be accepted to that daycare.
Joey's still homeless.
Joey's still looking for daycare.
And because little Joey couldn't get into a daycare, we went to an autism center, as they have been popping up everywhere as a rise of autism has occurred here in Minnesota because of the government funds that they're receiving. I tried to check my son Joey into an autism center.
We've been going to a lot of these daycare centers. We're trying to find a spot for our little boy Joey, but we thought maybe we could check him in the autism center because none of the daycare centers are open. Yeah, and how many kids do you guys have at this autism center?
I can't give you a number now.
Like more than 5? Probably, so you don't really know?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the fraud that's been labeled on the autism centers here? What do you guys do think about the fraud, or how come the autism centers are popping up?
I can't answer.
What news? Are you a news reporter?
My name's Nick. We're doing a little documentary trying to find little Joey a spot to put himself in one of these centers here because there's
So why are you asking us about
the fraud? Yeah, because we want to make sure we're going to legit business if we're going to bring our little boy Joey here.
This is not a Joey spot. Yeah. But that's her number on you. Yeah. But this is we can't let you guys do so.
Okay, thank you. So once again, little Joey, he can't even go to daycare, and now they won't even accept him if he has autism.
And again, no kids. Couldn't tell you how many kids they serve.
After being able to provide no evidence of them actually being an autism center in a place where a child could go, they shut the door and we headed to the next fraudulent daycare center that was just around the corner.
We're on to the next location. We're still trying to find little Joey a place to go to get some daycare.
So where we're going now is a place called Super Kids Daycare Center. Interestingly, this daycare center was shut down when it was called Creative Minds Daycare, and it had received $2.45 million this fiscal year 2025. They had to shut down because there were so many violations, and they went and they just reopened under a new license, and they renamed the center Super Kids Daycare Center LLC.
So they got shut down, then started another one.
Literally the next day.
Creative Minds Daycare, $2.45 million got sent to this daycare center. We have empty parking lot. We do have a bus here. This is different. We'll see if we see anybody.
I knocked on the door. Absolutely nobody was inside. And once again, no children could be heard anywhere.
So David, once again, another child daycare center. We have a bus out here. No one's inside. Licensed for over 50 kids. No children anywhere. But yet, millions of dollars every single year.
So the sign says Creative Minds Daycare. They got in so much trouble. They had so many violations that they had to shut down, and they reopened the next day under Super Kids Daycare Center. You see 3801 Portland, 3801 Portland, which is where we are.
So that's fraud right there alone.
Millions and millions of dollars. And again, the kids are missing. Where are the kids?
You'd think if they had the same address, that whoever's inside or working at the Capitol here inside of Minnesota would just say, oh, maybe that's a red flag.
They just write the check. Human Services, they got to clean out the whole bunch. They're the ones who enabled this fraud. How can you not look and say, wait a minute, these two are registered at the same address?
I ain't gonna lie, that one there, I ain't gonna lie, that one, in the spirit of being fair, that one there sounds sketchy than the mug. I ain't gonna lie. This particular daycare right here that they looking at sounds sketchy than the mug. I am not gonna lie. I'm being fair across the board. That one do. But yeah. But we are going to, I'm gonna let this little segment play and finish that they're talking about this, and then we're gonna go get to the Nick Shirley interview.
On top of all of the childcare centers, that's just only a small piece of the fraud. What other fraud are they committing here in Minnesota?
So another major piece of the fraud is the home
You already know
healthcare
DSD.
industry. Where we're going now is a building that has 14 Somali-owned home health care companies in the same building.
14 of the same healthcare companies in one building.
14 home health care companies with different names in the same building.
How bad has Tim Walz managed the budget here inside of Minnesota?
So the last biennium, we had an $18 billion surplus. This biennium, we have a $6 billion deficit. That's a $24 billion swing in one biennium. How in the world can you burn through $24 billion in 2 years? This is how, right here.
So, all right, so we're gonna stop that one there and move on to, so Nick Shirley sat down with CNN and they were asking him questions about this piece that he did to question his validity, because, you know, they saw what I saw. They're seeing what we seeing. So let's check that one out.
The Trump administration says it is now withholding all federal child care funding to the entire state. The agency says the state receives $185 million for 19,000 children, and now that money will be gone. And the agency did not specify any alternate plans for families who will be affected. DHS and the FBI said they were surging resources to Minnesota to investigate what they called suspected fraud sites. This all comes in response to a viral video posted by a MAGA content creator. He claims that he uncovered widespread fraud by Somali-run child care centers in the state. CNN is looking into those claims and has not independently verified the accusations, but the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services is taking the allegations at face value. Take a listen.
Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
However, the so-called evidence comes from a man who has posted anti-Muslim and anti-immigrant content in the past. CNN's Whitney Wild speaks to the man behind that video and takes a look at his claims.
We're from CNN. Can we talk to you? This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley. Back at a daycare in Minnesota, he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
People are going to say this is a left or right issue, but no, fraud is fraud. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day, later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you.
It does matter if you came during normal operation hours, especially if you're trying to see children enrolled, get inside and all those different things, even though you can't just walk inside a daycare. It does matter if you came during business hours. And the windows being blacked out, so the window's not supposed to be blacked out because you don't like it. Is that how it works? Is that illegal? Is that against like a law or ordinance or anything for them to have the windows blacked out? Because if it is, state it. But you can't just be like, well, I don't like that they wasn't open outside of business hours and their windows blacked out. What? Come on, Nick, grow up.
Any information, you call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody to be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a
There should
daycare.
be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
That's not how that works.
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Federal law enforcement has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media they've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation.
Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going on, but they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares, no children, they're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming.
Now I will say this. I see your comment, Kate. I wouldn't trust the daycare with blacked out windows either. But is it illegal? Is it against a rule? Is it against an ordinance? All those things that I wouldn't put my child in there if they got blacked out windows. I get you. But is it against any rule, ordinance, laws, anything like that? Because it has to be more than just him not liking it, especially if he's trying to prove. And I'm not, I'm with you. But I'm just saying if he's trying to prove fraud, it got to be deeper than, well, they not open during regular business hours and the windows are blacked out. And I agree, Ty. Like neither side. I didn't see anything in this video to prove. No, I know you're not sticking up for him. I know you're not. I know you're not. I know you're not, Kay. I know you're not. I didn't mean it like you were sticking up for him. I know you're not. I'm not saying you're not, but because I agree. Like if the windows are blacked out in the daycare, I agree with you. I'm gonna be looking at it skeptical, But for him to be saying that, come on, Nick. Like, is it illegal though, Nick? Because with Nick coming from him, he's supposed to be like the journalist, and he ain't giving us the information. So come on, Nick. No, I'm with you, Kay.
So we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the commissioner of children literally said a week ago this place was closed. Did you know They're showing face right now.
A viral video, disputed claims, and their full fallout remains to be seen. Dozens of fraud cases that DOJ is touting began during the Biden administration. Back in 2022, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Minnesota announced 47 indictments for this massive fraud scheme. Since then, they've indicted more than 30 more people, and in total, they have secured at least 56 convictions. Whitney Wild, CNN, Minneapolis.
I haven't been to the grocery store in months because this delivery service offers hundreds of high-quality
The group chat is back to talk about all of this right now.
I don't care about the group chat. Yeah, DSB, yeah, like, so Saturday, when we was covering it, like, there are a number of people within the Somali community who have been indicted and guilty and all those things there. So, yeah, it's definitely some money coming out, but it's like, Shirley hasn't proven anything in his attempt, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and yeah, he is coming out like a YouTuber who received a tip. But it seemed like the older guy, that was his tip. All the information that older guy, that was his tip. So yeah. So it looks bad that none of the daycare was able to prevent. It does. And that's the thing about this video is it depends on, because it could feed both sides. So people who are for Shirley can say, well, look, they couldn't answer nothing. People who are against Shirley can say, well, look, he didn't answer nothing. So it's ambiguous across the board in this video. It didn't help. It poured more fuel on the fire with a lot of blah, nothing. So yeah, he ain't proved nothing. They said they're legitimate, therefore they are. Nah, I mean, nobody proved anything. That's what I'm saying, cold dish. Nobody proved anything. Nick Shirley didn't prove anything, nor the Somalis proved anything. If we're being fair. So this last video is Nick Shirley sat down with another YouTuber, Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, and Andrew Callahan's kind of grilling Shirley a bit to see, to get some answers to see if his claims are legit. And I see the poll that I put up, and I see 7-8% of people say that Nick Shirley's claims are legit. But this video ain't helping though. It ain't helping. It ain't helping either. And to be fair, it's not helping either side. It ain't. This video isn't helping either side. So please hit that like button. Let's get it.
My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever by a creator, longer than 10 minutes, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast. Altogether, it did around 500 million views.
Who do you think were the main people who signal boosted the video and brought it into that true viral orbit?
Elon Musk, who shared the video. JD Vance, he shared the video. You had the Attorney General, but she actually didn't share it. She reacted to the video a few days later. Literally, quite frankly, every account on X saw that video instantaneously. Health and Human Services, they froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota, and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
As far as that main center that you visited, Quality Learning, aka Quality Learning Center.
Yeah.
Was there ever any kids there in the first place?
No. So that daycare center, it's been operating fraudulently. It's actually had over 90 violations over the past few years. And the day that I went there at 11 a.m. Their operating hours are from 2 to 10 p.m. they're now saying. And that's actually not legal.
So you said you went there at 11 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
And their operating hours are between 2 and 10 p.m.?
Allegedly.
But if that is true, would it have made sense that you didn't see any kids there?
Yeah, it would have made sense if I didn't see children there. Either way, whether I was there when kids were supposed to be there or not, why are all the windows boarded up? Or why are all the windows blacked out? Why is there no phone number that leads to anywhere? These businesses...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does seem like they're running those daycares specifically for themselves and their children and anything. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with that, Ty.
They're supposed to be operating to serve children. People should be able to check in their child there and their children into these daycares. It's literally impossible.
Did you see some of the footage released by CBS Minnesota affiliate station that showed kids entering and exiting the facility?
Yeah, the one on the ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one received over $1 million. It's licensed for 40 children. CBS, I believe, they go in there the day after I had posted my video. Obviously, they're gonna have children there when they're...
Hey, it's Alicia, your AI coach and trainer. I have a question for you. Do you know how to dance? Or maybe you would?
They're getting all this heat.
But even in that, Nick Shirley, can you prove that prior to your video, no children were coming into the daycare? You've yet to prove that. And that's the problem. He has claims, but no proof. It's a video full of claims. 43 minutes of claims and no proof. And the statement that he just made, well, yeah, you know, there's a video coming out showing kids going into the daycare after my video, but do you have proof that kids were not in the daycare prior to your video? Because once again, you've yet to prove that, Nick. Come on now.
I take my kids here, 2 o'clock to 10. Yeah, there's a lot of kids inside.
And same thing at that daycare. Why are all of the windows blacked out? This is a daycare. Why can't a lady just give me a paper to enroll a child? This door is locked.
This facility is licensed for 40 children.
Well, I guess maybe I'm just trying to think from all perspectives and help you clear up some misconceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, I figure like if you're going with a camera and like 3 or 4 dudes, some of whom were like larger security looking guys, some had face gaiters on, maybe there's a fear that there's like something weird going on, or it just seems unfamiliar and they feel like they don't want to let you in.
Yeah, they might feel that fear, but if they're operating legally, why would they have anything to fear? And the neighbors around it said they have not seen a child there for 8 years. If you go on Google Maps right now,
you pull up like that outside of operating hours, and they just supposed to let you in because you want to be let in. So I smell privilege. I don't know about y'all, but I smell privilege. I want you to let me in, so you're supposed to let me in because I'm Nick Shirley and I'm on YouTube and I have a camera. So you're supposed to bend to my will and do what I say because I have a camera and I'm on YouTube. I smell privilege.
you can actually see the images of the daycare progress over the past few years. And starting in 2021, the door is boarded up from the image from Google Maps. So I think if you show that, it's actually pretty crazy to see. And then they moved the building and they cut open a door on the backside of the building as well, where they had a quality learning center. One man's been living there since 2017, hasn't seen a single child. And when I go,
don't just say they did it, tell us the why behind it. Be a journalist and tell us the why behind it. And I'm not, I feel you, Ty, but it's just in this, we got to be fair. Like, you can't, like, this is messy stuff that he put out. It's not, especially if those people in that daycare are not committing fraud and he's doing this, it's some bull. It's some bull. At the end of the day, he put it out, and then you put out in the public realm gonna be subject to criticism. And if we're being fair, if there's no proof, if it's legit, if the sources that I have are truly legit, and there have been no proof of fraud, then this is bullshit. So to my sound like a pimp, I simp, all right. You ain't even using the term correct. What's your name? Bro Sean West. Hey, Bro Sean, strike one. I give you another chance. Bro Sean. Strike one.
Post my video on X, a lot of people were saying, well, Nick, you went during winter break. Well, actually, I went December 16th. School was still in session, so kids should still be going to daycare. The following days after the video then goes viral and gets over 100 million views, they have a person come out and he says, no, we're open. I'm the manager. I'm the son of the owners. We're open. At that same time, simultaneously, the lady who's in charge, the commissioner of children of Minnesota, says the daycare closed a week ago.
Quality Learning Center, which Brown says permanently closed last week.
While we have questions about some of the methods that were used in the video, we do take the concerns that the video raises about fraud very seriously.
So I filmed my video, daycare is allegedly open. Then a few days later, the lady says that the daycare was closed while that guy is outside telling people that the daycare is open.
I mean, it seems like that learning center has had a serious history of violations.
Quality Learning Center, yes.
Yeah, going back to 2020.
Yeah, it's literally not a daycare.
Hey, Bro Sean. Try again. You used the term incorrectly, and then actually I used it correctly. So, hey, I'm gonna give you another chance. Go ahead, because like DSB said, on your third strike, your ass getting kicked out of here. So you better come back with a good one that make me laugh, Bro Sean, or you gone. So.
But how could they have violations related to childcare if there was no kids there?
Yeah, the way they're operating inside of there, they had the violations. Those people are not able, they were operating fraudulently inside that daycare.
But fraud would mean there's no kids, but the violations relate to like poor safety conditions that put the kids in danger.
And so why would they be operating, and why would Minnesota continue to be giving them millions of dollars if they're receiving all these violations?
That seems like a really valid question.
Yeah.
Why do you think Minnesota would be giving a daycare center with so many violations so much money?
Well, that same man at Quality Learning Center who was saying that they were open after the commissioner was on the live stream saying they were closed a week ago was also partying with the mayor of Minneapolis.
Is the manager of the infamous Learning Center in Minneapolis also one of the guys that was dancing in the back of Mayor Jacob Frey's election victory video, the one that went super viral where he thanks his constituents in Somali for re-electing him last month?
Did you lose a lot of money sports betting on DraftKings or FanDuel?
So you feel like there's kind of like some nonprofit industrial complex type of deal happening?
For sure.
And the agenda is just for people to leech off the government and get free stuff?
81% of the Somali population inside Minnesota is living off welfare. And 89% of the fraud being committed inside Minnesota is by the Somali population.
So what do you think the solution to something like that is?
Go freeze the funding. Each business can then prove if they are legit. And if they can't, cut the funding. And so far, no business has sent any information to the HHS showing that they're legit as of today. They've had 3 days to do it. They haven't been able to prove it. They haven't even tried to make the effort to show that they're a legit business.
First it was closed, then it was open, and now we've confirmed it's closed again. That's all after the owners recently rejected allegations of stealing taxpayer money.
Do you trust America and the government specifically to handle our taxpayer funds correctly and properly if they have access to more of them?
No, I don't think any of us should. I mean, just last year alone, over $120 billion were misplaced.
So you have a general distrust in the government?
No, I don't have a distrust necessarily in the government, but do I think we should trust the government 100%? No. It's kind of like having faith. Like, do you want to have faith in that?
Yeah, DSB, he came over with his panties on. So clearly he got panties on. So but yeah, Ty, this is that's what I don't like about this situation that Nick Shirley has stirred up, because it's like Kay is saying, it's created doubt against the Somali community, but it's also the Somali community are not helping their cause with the way that they have defended themselves in this video. And of course, if you got these people just coming up, running up out of nowhere with these cameras and stuff, of course, people are going to react a certain way. But those numbers don't look good. And that last sentence of the changing of the names, all that. So I'm not going to say, from what I've said, I'm not going to say that 100% hands are clean. I think some dirty hands are out there on both sides as well. Because with Nick, like, I can't take him serious if he can't give me any concrete evidence. I can't take him serious, but at the same time, I'm side-eyeing some of these Somalis too. At the same time, I am side-eyeing some of them, but I do know the information that I've come across has said that no fraud has been found so far. So let's continue.
God's real? Yes. When we die, will we for certain know exactly where we're going? You kind of walk with faith in a way where you hope that the people that you elect are going to work for your best interest. Do you know for certainty that the best thing is happening inside the country? Every single time you pay taxes, it's going to go to the place that needs it? No. But on that case, do I feel certain that I know where I'm going to go when I die because of my faith? Yes. But does that mean that it's going to actually happen? Who knows until we pass the other side. So, and then another thing is, we as Americans, how should we feel comfortable knowing that there are daycares receiving millions of dollars while some families are paying upwards of $70,000 a year for their children to be going to daycare?
Did you ever hear about the Amy Bach case?
The white lady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy Bach acknowledged the government has proven fraud among meal sites and vendors that she sponsored under Feeding Our Future, but that it was others, not her.
If you look at the probe that began in 20...
Well, once again, we already have information, and we've already know that Feeding Our Future was committing fraud. But once again, Nick Shirley is trying to connect these specific daycares to Feeding Our Future, and he's yet to do that.
23, as far as like COVID era, scamming and different types of fraud, there's been over like 60 convictions and millions seized from the fraudsters who took the money away.
Yeah.
But you feel like the state hasn't done enough.
Well, Tim Walz has said they've been stopping to fight fraud since 2019, 2026, and they're still having millions of dollars being stolen, billions of dollars.
Breaking political news out of Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz, who of course was the Democratic nominee for vice president in 2024, has ended his re-election bid for governor. This comes as pressure has been growing around this widening welfare fraud scandal.
We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access.
Yeah, but Tim Walz, you resigning doesn't help, because if your hands are clean, why you resigning? If your hands are clean, Tim Walz, why you resign? This whole Minnesota thing is wild. The further we dig, the wilder it gets, because I guarantee you it's a lot of There's a lot of bull going on. There's a lot of legit stuff, and there's a lot of bull going on too. And I guarantee you, it's a lot of white hands in here that we probably wouldn't even expect to be, or we would expect to be. We just, I don't know, but I guarantee you so. Yep, yeah, resigning makes him look guilty than a mug, DSB. Makes him look guilty than a mug. Because if he isn't, then why would you be resigning? If you were doing the right thing for the people of Minnesota, why would you be resigning? So yeah, like, this is wild. This is wild.
To our children. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next year.
I have quite literally saved America millions of dollars. That's why you saw the mainstream media attack me instantaneously after I exposed $100 million in fraud. Why would they not go investigate the fraud? Why would they investigate the person who investigated the fraud?
Where does that $100 million figure come from specifically?
Yeah, so you had all the daycares. With the daycares alone, you had millions of dollars in fraud. And then inside of the home healthcare businesses, they were warehouse-style industrialized buildings where you had 14 of the same healthcare companies all working within the building, and they could not even give you a rate. We know how expensive healthcare is, and they're giving these companies millions of dollars. And the man, David, who's in my video, he's the one who has the statistics and has the numbers on how much these businesses were operating.
Right.
It is far worse.
Not only costing them tons of
this
money,
video does,
but tons
help.
of time as
It
well.
doesn't
Now, this is
help
why we built our
the
deal
older
calculator,
white guy.
trusted and used by
the information he
And anybody can imagine.
It doesn't help because it's like now you got this whirlwind of information coming out surrounding these Somalians. And what if those particular ones he's going up to are doing what they're supposed to do? What if they are legit? I'm not saying they are, but I'm just throwing out a what if. If they are, then he's causing a lot of trauma and controversy to come to the people who not. Now, if they are scamming, then, hey man, you know what I'm saying, Nick Shirley did his job. Nick Shirley did his thing if they are scamming, but if not, so let's watch a little bit more, then we're gonna wrap this thing up.
You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion.
How did you come into contact with David?
He just messaged me on Instagram, and he said, Nick, I have the information about the fraud taking place here inside Minnesota. I've been looking into it for years. I have somebody from inside the Capitol who has given me the numbers of CCAP funding. I've been trying for years to expose this fraud. Nobody will listen to me. Please give me a call.
Has he shown you that data?
Yeah, that's what's inside the video. When you see the video and the screenshots of the CCAP funding, that's all straight from the Capitol of Minnesota.
So who is David's source?
David's source, he has somebody inside the Capitol.
Now, I know how to find that information, and I work for nonprofit organizations and stuff. So finding that information does not necessarily mean that somebody's doing something wrong. It just shows you how much money have been allocated to these organizations and things. But you know, like time gonna keep rolling. We're gonna find out something. We're gonna find out more, rather. We're gonna find a lot more.
And you don't know
and
who
that's
it is.
public information as well.
Who is it?
Who is the person's name?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
right,
lady's
Ty.
name.
Right, Ty.
I did
We
not
know
work
they've
with
been
her.
lying.
However, the information that was provided, I can't tell you her name right now, but I could find it on X because, but she's also inside the government there inside Minnesota.
But you like fact checked all that and you looked it all up.
Yeah, David, all those numbers are straight from the Capitol.
So a couple days ago, Minnesota State Representative Lisa Booth said that her Republican caucus had been, quote, working with you ahead of your coverage. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I had no idea who she was.
Our caucus has been working to expose fraud for years, including working with Nick Shirley.
Minnesota House GOP leaders say they provided the YouTuber with information in the now viral video.
So you feel like she's just clout chasing?
Yeah, that's what I literally put in the reply in the tweet. Her campaign freaked out when I tweeted that. That's the lady who I was referring to earlier in this interview. So her staff was the people that David had received the information from because David reached out, and she works inside the government. So she did actually a good job by doing what she's supposed to do by serving the people and giving that information.
Yeah, it says that Harry Niska, a Republican representative who's a staffer for her, was the one who gave the intel to David.
Yeah, that probably sounds about right. But good on her for actually caring about fraud. Fraud's been taking place for years.
And it's really affected the city on that big of a level to the point where people like David are feeling it.
Yeah, because what they knew is Minnesota is not Minnesota anymore.
As far as immigration goes?
Immigration goes, fraud. They just released a new thing where they're giving people 20-week leaves for work leaves, and they've also raised property taxes. Meanwhile, you have billions of dollars, quite frankly, literally billions of dollars over the past few years going to fraud. It's not a hyperbole, it's fact. Government has shown that upwards of $9 billion has gone to fraud. I would vote for anybody but Tim Walz inside that state of Minnesota.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you cleared that up because, you know, it's like the same reason that people lost trust in traditional media is because they felt like there was no barrier between the establishment and, you know, corporate news pundits. And they felt like CNN was an arm of the Democratic Party and then Fox was an arm of the conservative wing. So the fear now that I've thought about before, and I'm not saying this is happening, it will probably take like 5 to 10 years, is that somehow the political powers that be figure out how to use the independent creator economy like on a sleeper cell level to do their bidding for them.
So I'm gonna stop that right there because we pretty much to beat a dead horse with this. We see Nick Shirley just, you know, talking in circles, and he's saying what he believed, but not what he's necessarily been able to prove, right? So over this hour and a half, we've learned nothing concrete, and we're even more confused now than we were before we started. I thought we was gonna learn something to come to some kind of conclusion, but damn it, I'm even more confused. I don't know who's doing what now, because the Somalis could be committing fraud at the daycares as well, or Nick Shirley could be on that bull. But we know he hasn't proven anything, and the Somalis haven't proven anything from what all the information that we've seen. I'm confused. I have no idea. I don't know what the hell is going on. Oh yeah. Yeah, but I'm about to shut this thing down. I always support. I appreciate you, Ty, for supporting everything that we got going on over here. I'm about to shut this thing down too. I know it's a school night. I appreciate you all being up here. I'm just saying, after this video, after watching all 3 videos, I'm even more confused now than I was when I started. And I just want to say, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I have no idea. So we're gonna have to keep looking into this to see what more we learn. Because Nick Shirley did a horrible job of being a journalist and investigative reporter. It's trash. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give you a 3, my brother. A good 3. I give you 3 for just being out in the snow, because I wouldn't be out in the snow. But with that being said, this is Tuesday Night Live, OTSOG. I am Joseph Ward. I appreciate you all for tuning in, checking me out, hearing what I got to say about the Somali crisis or what Somali fraud that's going on. And, you know, here we try to be as fair as possible and tell the truth. You might not agree with everything we say, but I do my best to tell the truth. And if you can prove me wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong and change my stand. So let's do it like that. Once again, everybody who tuned in, thank you for hitting that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Please hit that hype button and tell everybody about what we got going on over here. I'll see y'all live again on Saturday at 3:30. So 2 fingers in the air. We out.